With the never-ending lawsuit on board, the courtroom drama has taken a much steeper turn. Will the SEC's power get limited after this trial? Or will cryptocurrencies be subjected to massive crypto regulation by the agency? If you are an XRP stakeholder and wish to know everything about the suit and its upcoming price prediction, watch till the end to find out how to double the money.
The good news is you're about to make a lot of money.
In today's video, we are going to be talking about the latest updates on the Ripple versus SEC matter. To know the recent catalysts in the matter, make sure to enable all your notifications to our channel to keep up with all the hottest secrets in the world of XRP. Before we jump into the video, please note that the cryptocurrency market is highly volatile. Therefore, the prices mentioned herein would have changed by the time you watched this video. Also, the information shared in this video is not financial or investment advice. You are requested to pursue your own diligent research or consult an expert to make better investment decisions.
You need to get an expert opinion.
The tables on this suit have turned around from what it was in the beginning. With this, there are possible chances that the lawsuit might witness a resolution before or in the earlier stages of the next year, 2022. Interested people are requested to have a keen observation on each and every update on this suit, because this will impact not only Ripple's native crypto, but the entire cryptocurrency market. If the SEC gets away with a win, the entire market will have to experience the wrath of the SEC. Gary Gensler has already mentioned that every initial coin offering is secure, and most of the cryptocurrencies in the market are working as unregistered security. Starting with the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, the mysterious legal battle between the government regulatory body and the fintech company over SEC's clarity on providing authority over the $2.2 trillion cryptocurrency market. Even though the beginning of this suit did not seem to be favorable for Ripple and XRP, however, recent parts of it are going beautifully on the fintech company's side with, of course, a bit of a hurdle here and there. The SEC filed a complaint against Ripple Labs, a worldwide payments platform, in December 2020, saying that the company had violated securities regulations by neglecting to register its XRP coin as security. After Joe Biden's triumph over Donald Trump in the 2020 presidential election, then SEC Chair Jay Clayton made one of his final moves before leaving office. It was at that time when Ripple was using its native cryptocurrency as a vehicle to finance its core business of seamless cross-border transactions for financial institutions, the SEC charges, something it had been doing for 7 years since its founding in 2013. And here comes Ripple's most robust defense, the fair notice defense. This defense gives Ripple the immunity to cling to its constitutional right, claiming that the regulatory body did not give proper and fair notice before filing a suit against Ripple for the work it has been doing in the presence of the SEC for the past 8 years. The lawsuit took Ripple by surprise.
I'm sorry, Liam. He took me by surprise.
However, creating ever more confusion to an already complicated regulatory conversation over whether cryptocurrencies should be considered securities, commodities, or something else. In the event of a precedent by a court order which would define crypto as security, the digital market would then get approved and regulated by the SEC, which demands various company disclosure. The SEC claims that Ripple is unique since XRP was actively utilized to fund Ripple's business and is effectively an investment in the company. As a result, it is a security, not a commodity, and falls under the SEC's regulatory jurisdiction under the Howey test. Also, from the other angle, the U.S. Representative Don Bayer proposed new legislation called the Digital Asset Market Structure and Investor Protection Act that would protect consumers and promote innovation by incorporating digital assets into the existing financial regulatory structure. As per this legislation, digital security and digital assets are completely different. Digital assets will not give any rights to the stakeholder, such as the voting right, the share of the company, and money from the sale is not used to build the digital platform. Taking these items into consideration, XRP will not be considered as digital security. Therefore, if this legislation would get passed, XRP would be unlikely to fall under the definition of digital security, so not subject to regulation by the SEC. Rather, cryptos will get looked over by the CFTC, the Commodities Future Trading Commission. On the recent motion, the court denied Ripple to compel the SEC in producing pre-clearance trading documents in regard to the XRP, BTC, and ETH concerning SEC employees' XRP holdings. Ripple thought of exposing the SEC's policies governing digital assets.
I'm going to expose you.
However, those documents couldn't support Ripple's fair notice defense. Well, even though this motion was denied, the court did order the SEC to produce its internal documents. Therefore, the ruling can still be perceived as a win for Ripple. According to attorney Jeremy Hogan, the SEC seems to have made a major shift in its strategy in what has been called a major admission of defeat. Recently, Fox Business journalist Charles Gasparino has tweeted something that has caught significant attention. He said, according to SEC enforcement sources, the agency's case against Ripple is based on the fact that the company's infrastructure is still being built out. Therefore, XRP, the coin used to fund the project, is still regarded as security, but Ethereum has been fully built out for years. Now, we also have attorney Jeremy Hogan, who has to say certain things. With the Ethereum network undergoing another update, the platform is now completely built out. Because the SEC is trying to make an argument differentiating XRP and Ethereum solely on the basis of their build, stating that Ripple Ledger is not fully built out, that is a major shift in SEC strategy and major admission of a defeat for the SEC. Technically, the regulatory agency does not have a robust argument.
Well, does a simple argument over a phone bill sound like a believable explanation to you?
Therefore, proving anything on Ripple Ledger won't suffice the SEC a win. The SEC has fought tooth and nail to avoid making that comparison. Since the April 6 hearing, the court has believed that comparing Ether to XRP, a non-security, would be a part of the case. In order to avoid this comparison, the SEC has gone so far as to reverse Hinman and the SEC's instructions on Ether not being security, assisting Ripple with its fair notice defense. The Commission alleges that between 2012 and 2020, certain critical aspects of the XRP ledger were centralized to Ripple, including Ripple's control over several aspects of the XRP ledger, including the ledger's maintenance, development, governance, functionality, default trusted nodes list, and consensus mechanism. According to Mr. Hogan, the SEC is now admitting that what it has wanted to prevent for the majority of this dispute will happen, a comparison between the Ethereum ledger and the XRP ledger. Ripple's ledger was built out in 2013 and has been tweaked and made better ever since. The Ethereum ledger was built out in 2015, centralized, which has also been made better. Therefore, there would not be much difference between the two ledgers. Also, on September 18, 2021, Coinbase had announced dropping its plan after the regulatory body balked at its supervision. The SEC has been threatening to sue the company if it moved forward with its lending program, which would then allow customers to earn interest on stablecoins by lending or loaning it to other traders without ever telling them why they wanted to be transparent in the first place about the course of events leading up to it.
I think I deserve an explanation.
Overall, the case has put Gary Gensler, President Biden's choice to lead the commission, to the test. During his tenure, Gensler has pledged to make regulating the young cryptocurrency industry a key priority, and he has been more of a crypto activist than his predecessor, Clayton. Gensler recently testified before the Senate Banking Committee, admitting that the SEC is attempting to expand its control over the crypto industry by asking Congress for more regulatory authority. This might be terrible news for Ripple and, by extension, the future of crypto innovation, which opponents fear would be suppressed if Gensler gets his way. Anat Alon-Beck, professor of law at Case Western Reserve University, stated, "The Ripple case is very important, especially when many scholars, including myself, are concerned about the fact that many innovations in this space are happening outside the US, where companies and their founders are concerned about regulations. There is a lack of regulatory clarity."
I just like to clarify things.
Coming to XRP price prediction, XRP is trading at $0.95 with a gain of 2.70% change in the last 24 hours. It appears that the crypto is struggling to breach the $1 mark. However, the bulls are ready, and there is a likelihood of XRP to hit $1, showcasing an uptrend by 25%. On the flip side, the token might as well go down in case the lawsuit takes another turn. XRP has to close decisively above the $1 mark to elevate a decent uptrend. That is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please consider hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell notifications to never miss out on any updates from us. Leave a comment on your views on whether XRP can cross a dollar mark soon. And we will see you all at our next one.